If you are in your 20s, you're going to want to stop and watch this video because I got some tips for you that could possibly help you change your life. Now, I did a video a couple years ago, and I'm going to link it in the comment section below because it's such a good video for you girls in your 20s. I wanted to do an updated one because a lot of things have changed in the world since that last video. So tip number one, you guys, is don't take everything that I'm going to say to you as law. When you watch a video about tips on becoming a better woman or tips on business or whatever it is, we often think that we need to do every single one, and if we don't, we're going to feel bad. So that's the first tip. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest alone. This is going to be a two-part series, so make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you get part number 2. Tip number 2 is I want you to start listening to your elders. I know that is so foreign from today's thought process, but I am a woman from back in the day when you grew up, you were taught to respect your elders and to listen to your elders. And I want to say this, I want you guys to start listening to your elders, meaning listen to what they're telling you about their health. Listen to what they talk to you about their finances. Listen to what they talk to you about their relationships. Now, am I telling you to listen to your 85-year-old grandmother who tells you stop making those YouTube videos and go to school and get a college education and get a good government job? I'm not talking about like that as far as like honoring them and listening to them. There are things that the older generation are just completely out of touch with. Child, talking to my mother and trying to get her to upload and send a text is bananas. So I get it. And there's only certain things that I'm going to listen to my mother about. I'm definitely not going to listen to her anything as far as like technology or the way in which I make my money today because that's totally foreign to her. However, I am noticing how my mother is starting to feel pain in her lower back more. She's gotten some illnesses that due to food. So I want you to listen to your elders as far as that's concerned because I'm telling you, it's coming. Just keep living and something is going to happen to you, whether it be because lack of physical movement, you don't have a workout regimen, or you're eating a lot of junk food. And I know in your 20s, your stomach can really digest that stuff, but the sooner you start to pay attention to your food and getting an exercise regimen, the better it's going to be because eventually you're going to have to. Like I said, listen to your elders, listen to the people in your family on social media who are out in the strangers in the grocery store who are telling you when they say, oh, child, I remember when I could eat that when I was younger. It's probably sugar or dairy that they're referring to or some kind of meat. So listen to that. That is not a cliche. That's very, very real. So listen to your elders. Number 3 is to start setting some non-negotiable boundaries. If you find yourself saying, she just called me whenever she wants to talk, whenever she wants something, or he never calls me, or my mom always ... or my friends or my boss always. If you find yourself saying those type of things, I want you to ask yourself, why do those things happen to you? There's something about you that has allowed that circumstance, that experience into your space. It is not coming to you by happenstance. It is coming to you because on some level, you're accepting something that doesn't feel good to your soul. So maybe you are doing extra things at your job that you're not getting paid for and you're not speaking up for yourself. But you complain that your boss always puts loads of stuff on you and you come home tired from work and you feel like you're overworked and you're underpaid. But if you're not saying anything, guess what that boss gonna keep doing? Child, he gonna keep doing what he's doing, okay? So start putting some boundaries in place. Start honoring yourself now. The sooner you do this, the less you will feel heavy when you get older. And let me just warn you, when you start to put these boundaries in place, people are going to start to feel like they are losing their mind. And let me tell you why. Because they have been used to you being a certain way. It's almost going to be like when you start to take your pacifier out of a baby's mouth. That baby is being nurtured by that and comforted by that pacifier. But now you start to realize, okay, the baby is getting its teeth. Maybe it's not so wise to have the pacifier in the baby's mouth anymore. So you start to wean the baby off of the pacifier, and the baby just starts crying because it's out of its comfort zone. But I promise you, if you keep it out long enough, the baby is going to get used to the fact that that is no longer an option for a source of comfort. And the same is going to happen with you. When you start putting these boundaries, people are going to seem like they are losing their mind around you because they're not used to the new you. But the first person who has to lose their mind is you. You have to lose the current mindset that you're operating from and go in and set those boundaries and be confident and be bold with what you say about who you are and how you want to be treated. But you got to treat yourself that way first. Tip number 4 is to pay attention to your finances. Oftentimes in our 20s, that's when we make a lot of financial mistakes that oftentimes don't get fixed into our 40s and 50s. And so if you can get a hold of that and create a habit of paying attention to your finances, paying your bills on time, if you have some debt, making sure that you're staying in contact with your creditors, the last thing that you want to do is to avoid them, is to not contact them. And one of the ways in which I looked at that, because I used to be that young girl, like, I'm not calling them, whatever, it'll be on my credit report. And I would just get tired of them calling me all the time. This is what I thought. If I loaned somebody $100,000 and they said that they were going to pay it back to me, I would be calling them too. So I want you to think about that. Like, if you owe somebody, don't get irritated that they're calling you. Understand that you made an agreement. You said you were going to call, you were going to pay that money back. And so get in contact with them. I'm telling you, what they really want is communication. They want to know that you still, that hello, is you still here? Even if you can negotiate to send them $5, it's literally something. So you don't want to set that tone and that habit in your life of avoiding your money issues. Get on top of it and start paying attention to it so you can have a good financial relationship in your life. Which leads me to my next point. And I think we're on number 5. This is make some more money. Y'all, we're in this brand new world, okay? There are so many ways in which you can make money. And like, now in your 20s is the time to do it. And I'm not to say that your 30s and your 40s and your 50s isn't the time to do it. It's just that when you're in your 20s, you typically have a lot of less things to concern yourself. Most of you guys may not have a family yet, or a household that you're taking care of, or a roof that needs to be repaired, or a toilet that just broke, right? So this is the time to make those big jumps. Find out what it is that you're good at. What is it that you like to do, and figure out a way to earn money with doing that. There's literally so many apps that you guys can earn money from. YouTube, TikTok, like all these platforms. If you guys draw, you can create a coloring book. And I created a whole coloring book with AI. I mean, there's so many ways that you can build on your finances in this day and age. So take advantage of those things. The next tip is be okay with letting some friendships go. I know that there are probably friends that you've had since first grade, second grade, elementary school, middle school, high school. Now you're in your 20s and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not vibing with this person anymore. Don't be afraid to end relationships. One of my mentors often says, if the visions don't align, now is not the time. Which simply means if the person that you're rocking with ain't on the same page as you, ain't on the same stuff that you on, it's not a good time for y'all to walk together, because when two of y'all link up, one of y'all is going to do what the other one does. One of you guys is going to be influenced by the other one. And if your friend is not influencing you in places that you want to go, you're not going to enjoy the outcome. So start understanding that friendships always don't last forever. I just recently stopped being friends with somebody that I was friends with since I was in elementary school. Like, it happens. It happens. And don't be afraid to allow that to take place into your life, because that season is just over, and that's okay. God will place different people, places, and things and experiences in your life as you continue on this journey called life. The next tip is to get involved. There are a lot of times most of your connections or your biggest breaks in life are really going to come from people that you know. You know the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That is a real thing, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just that we are relationship driven people. When you have a relationship with somebody, you typically refer them and you know who they are, you know their character, their personality. But if you're in obscurity, nobody can recommend you, nobody can ask you for your business or for your service. So get out and network in either in your community or in online forms. Get out of obscurity, because there's something that you can offer to this world that so many people can benefit from. But if you keep it to yourself, nobody is going to find out about it. So network with people. If you do hair, make sure your hair is laid. If you do makeup, if you teach and you coach, or you babysit, or you bake cake, or you listen, whatever it is that you do, get into a community of other people that do the same thing. Why? Because iron sharpens iron. And I'm your elder, and I said so. And the last tip for this video: forgive your parents. I know. Take a deep breath on that one. Forgive your parents. This is so huge, and it literally breaks my heart when I hear young adults and older adults having issues with their parents. I want you guys to think about this. If you have a child, great. If you don't have a child, it applies to you the same way. I'm talking to everybody. If you have ever had a hard day in your life, and that day turned into a couple days, or turned into a week or a month or some years or whatever, if you've ever had some hard times in life, just imagine having that hard time, your own personal struggles, your own personal issues, and now add kids to that equation. Like, forgive your parents. Your parents were human. Your parents are human. The only prerequisite to becoming a parent is to have intercourse with someone else. That's it. There is no class. There is no course. You don't have to do anything. And so I want you to think about, like, if you are 20 years old and you're at college right now and you are having financial woes, imagine adding a 3-year-old to that. So you can't afford to get your hair done, and now your baby needs stuff too. Like, I want you, and parenting in that manner is you're not always going to get the best mom in her best temperament, because she's stressed out. She's trying to figure out how she's going to take care of you. But I want you to think about that as far as your parents. Like, they literally did the best that they could. They did the best, regardless if it was your idea of the best, if it was your friend's idea of the best, it was their best. There is no way on God's green earth that I could hold any grudges towards my mom. For those of you guys who don't know, I failed the 9th grade 3 times, never graduated from high school, never got a high school diploma, never got any formal training. I was a teenage mom on welfare, the whole thing. Started several successful businesses, and I've been able to get off of welfare and started faring well. When I was younger, my mother never missed an opportunity to call me dumb and stupid. She would always say, Angel, go sit down somewhere. You ask too many goddamn questions. Go sit down. You so stupid. Move out the way. I'll do it. You too damn slow. My mother, you guys, is, I believe, 78 this year. And my mother has a 3rd grade reading level. So when she was calling me dumb and stupid, who do you really think she was talking to? Me? Oh, no. She wasn't talking to me. She was talking to herself. She was projecting how she was feeling on the inside to herself. And some of you guys, your parents have done the same thing. I need you to forgive them. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They just don't know. And that's okay. Why? Because they're human and they're going to make mistakes, just like you're going to make mistakes. And guess what? If you're a parent, You're doing something currently in your child's life that they're going to maybe one day end up on a brown couch talking to a therapist for. So don't get so high and mighty and judging how your parents raised you, because trust and believe that way of parenting is in your subconscious mind. And if you're not careful, you will repeat those same things. So forgive your parents. Forgive them.